Welcome, YouTubers, fellow preppers, and survivalists. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. Please like and subscribe. My goal with this channel is to how to survive on little or no money. How to be a prepper. How to do it on a budget. Basically, most of my prepping was done on money from aluminum cans I picked up on side of the road every time I go running or I go rucking. I put a backpack on my back. Any can I see, I pick it up. When I see someone throwing out electronics, I'll cut the wire off. I'll get whatever copper, any metal of value I can out of that. And when I cash all that in, then I go down and buy preps with it. If I don't have to pay bills, but you kind of see where I'm getting at. How to beat this inflation. One of the ways, you're not going to beat the inflation, but how to deal with it. You need to lower your standards of living. That's all there is to it. Get rid of Netflix. Get rid of all this paid stuff, okay? You can get all your news from YouTube. And to be honest with you, the mainstream propaganda, it's nothing but propaganda. If you want to get the real news, you just need to watch channels such as mine and other channels, because you'll hear it first on YouTube. And if the mainstream media can suppress it, they'll never put it out there. But if they get to where they can't hide it, then they'll go ahead and put it on the mainstream media. But on YouTube, you're going to find out what happened, what's going on, and things like that quicker. Right? So you don't need cable television. Just YouTube. Another thing. Change the way you eat. Grow as much food as you can, of course. That's a no-brainer. I like to call that a duh. Okay? Learn how to forage. I can go out there and forage up a meal, not a problem. But a good way to get started is buy you some beans and buy you some rice. And beans got plenty of protein in them. Rice is, your body breaks down those carbohydrates easier than any other carbohydrate that I know of. Okay? And you need that for energy. So you got your protein with your beans. And, if you can get a squirrel or a rabbit or any kind of meat, a good way to do it, like a lot of people do, is they go down and buy smoked neck bones, smoked ham hocks, and you put that in with them rice and beans and cook it. That's good food. And it's cheap. You can feed a lot of people off rice and beans, and it's not expensive. That's where a lot of people are messing up. They're like, oh my God, I can't afford these groceries. And I'm like, change the way you eat. I can literally show you and I'm talking about going to the grocery store and buying food. And $5 a day with beans and rice and smoked ham hocks or neck bones. You don't use them all. Just throw one or two in that beans when you cook it. And, however you want to cook your rice, separate, whatever, everybody does things their own way. I cook my rice separate from my beans and ham hock because I let my beans and ham hock cook for a long time so that flavor gets in them beans. Then I put me some rice in there, cut me up an onion and put in there. And you'll realize seasoning is important. If you're just going to live off beans and rice in a grid down situation, you're going to want some seasoning, okay? And that's just the affordable way of doing it. Because, I know a lot of people, they're like, man, I couldn't just live off beans and rice. If that's all you got, yeah, you can. And of course, anything you can hunt or forage, add in with it. But for me, if I was new at prepping and on a budget, I would get food grade buckets. Then get the Mylar. If you're a prepper, you know how to do it. There's plenty of videos showing how to do it. And seal it, and it's good for 20 years. Now with the rice, this is the important part. When you buy rice, there's already bugs in that rice. They just haven't hatched yet, okay? So, what you do is you find somebody that's got a freezer. You get that rice, you put it in a freezer, and they say 24 hours. I like to go for 3 days. Okay? So you keep that rice in the freezer for 3 days, and it kills all the bugs and all the bug eggs in there. I learned the hard way. Okay? I stored rice. I didn't freeze it first. Well, when I opened it, there's these little bugs that I call weevils, and they devastated the rice. I mean, it was still edible, but it wasn't all that good. So that's important, is freeze that rice and then seal it up real good so no bugs get in there, and it'll keep for a long time. Now, I haven't had any problem with bugs when it comes to my beans. Everybody always shooting out here. But, so, it is what it is. Just try eating beans and rice, Start out 1 meal a week, beans and rice. And, you can, and your body needs to adjust. Just like, if it's a grid down, your body's going to have to climatize to the environment, or it's going to be rough on you. Okay? Well, it's going to be the same way if you're used to eating all this other food, steak, hamburgers, all the good stuff, okay? And then all of a sudden you're just living off beans and rice and food you foraged. That could be rough on the stomach. You got to train your body. It's basically like the same way, people that live in Mexico can drink the water. Not a problem. We go down there and drink that water. Big problem. You got to get your body used to it. So, do some rocking. There's nothing beneath you, okay? If you see an aluminum can there, pick it up. If you see a penny laying on the ground, every time I go and pump gas for somebody at a store, or myself, I always find a couple pennies, dimes, nickels, just laying on the ground. Hey, I'll pick them up. That stuff adds up. That's what I'm trying to say. Every little bit adds up. But out of a big pot of beans and rice, I can feed me and a couple of people really good for a couple of days. And it doesn't cost that much. So start adjusting your diet now. You know, because, man, the price of groceries is gone crazy. You know, and you need to, we are spoiled as Americans, okay? We need to check ourselves, you know. You don't have to have, it would be nice to have steak and, you know, all that high dollar food. Man, hell, I wish I could eat like that all the time. You know, but I do all right because I hunt hogs, and I got lots of my mag team that they hunt deer meat. They hook me up with that deer meat. And I honestly think that wild meat's better for you. I don't trust this stuff you buy at the store. You know, sometimes it's a necessity. But start saving your pennies, you know. Start saving what you can. Get rid of unnecessary costs. Okay? YouTube, there's all kinds of good movies on YouTube. This is free. You don't need Netflix. You can eat beans and rice once or twice a week. It's actually good for you. So, get on a budget. Lower your standards of living while you're able to. Because soon, this inflation is really going to get completely out of control. You write it down. All American Prepper said on this date right here, that after the election, if there is one, we're going to see some real inflation. So it's best while you can go ahead and buy your beans and rice now. Go ahead and start prepping now, okay? For instance, I'm a gardener, okay? I use hand tools. I don't use nothing, no tractors, none of that. And get your gardening tools. Start using them. And I got a couple of these. Well, I went and bought one 2 days ago just because I like to have an extra. So when the grandkids come out, they can dig around. First off, this thing's made in China. So you know it's not going to last. But they've doubled in price in 2 years. So you need to buy your gardening tools. And when you break them, they're probably not truly broken. You can probably fix them. And I found out, you know, you seen someone throwing away an old axe, an old shovel, those older ones. If you clean them up and put a new handle on them, they're made way better than any of this new stuff. Repurpose it. Don't throw anything away. See, All American Prepper, let's beat this inflation together. Any questions, leave comments. I'm here to help. Stay ready. Stay dangerous. Have a blessed day.